All right, let's dive into one of the most important and, let's be honest, kind of nerve-wracking parts of buying a house, the home appraisal. We're going to break it all down and make it make sense. So picture this. You've found it, the one. You've toured it, you've crunched the numbers, you put in your offer, and they accepted. It's an amazing feeling. But right in the middle of all that excitement, this huge question starts to bubble up. What is this house actually worth? And here's the thing. That official answer, the one the bank cares about, it doesn't come from the asking price. It doesn't even come from the price you agreed to pay. Nope. It comes from this really formal process called the home appraisal. At the end of the day, that's really all it is. A home appraisal is just an objective, professional opinion on what a property is worth on the open market. And those two words are everything: unbiased and professional. This isn't just a guess. It's a valuation backed by a ton of data. And you gotta know, this is not just some box-ticking exercise. The lender, the people giving you a giant pile of money for the mortgage, they absolutely require it. Why? Well, they need to make sure that the house is actually worth the amount of money they're about to lend you. It's all about protecting their investment. So let's dig into that a little deeper. Why does this one number have so much power in what is probably the biggest purchase of your life? Turns out, it's about way more than just keeping the bank happy. Think of the appraisal as a financial safety net. It's this critical reality check that honestly protects everybody in the deal. We're talking the buyer, the seller, and of course the lender. It stops people from making a really, really costly mistake. It really works for everyone. For the lender, it's simple risk management. They are not going to loan you more money than the asset is actually worth. For you, the buyer, it's huge peace of mind. It confirms you're not overpaying. And even for sellers, a good appraisal can help them set a realistic price right from the start. And this is where it really hits home. That final appraisal number directly impacts your loan. It can affect your interest rate, how much of a down payment you need. Basically, the whole structure of your mortgage is built on top of this one value. So yeah, this number matters a lot. Okay, so we get why it's a big deal. But what happens when the appraiser actually shows up? What are they looking at? What are they scribbling on that clipboard to come up with this magic number? Well, it's a pretty clear four-part process. First, they do a full visual inspection. They're looking at the home's condition, the square footage, the materials used. Second, they're taking detailed notes on all the amenities, things like a swimming pool, a finished basement, a brand new kitchen. Third, and this is probably the most important part, they research comps. That's short for comparables. What have similar nearby houses sold for recently? And finally, they pull in all the neighborhood data and public records to get the complete picture. You see? This isn't just about a gut feeling or what they think the house is worth. An appraiser is basically a real estate detective. They're gathering clues, looking at hard evidence, and building a solid case for the property's value. It's all driven by data. And all that detective work gets compiled into one super detailed document, the official appraisal report. It doesn't just give you a number, it literally shows you the math. It lays out the whole argument for how the appraiser got to that final value. Okay, let's talk about the situation that everyone dreads. What happens if the appraisal's value comes in lower than the price you and the seller agreed on? First thing, don't panic. This is called an appraisal gap, and it happens. Now, here's why it's such a critical moment. The bank will only lend your money based on the official appraised value, not the higher sale price. That means there's a gap between what the bank is willing to finance and the price you promised the seller. But the good news is you've got options. Number one, you can go back to the seller and try to renegotiate the price down to the appraised value. Number two, if the seller says no, you can choose to cover that gap yourself by bringing more cash to the table for your down payment. Or number three, if you and your agent really think there are big mistakes in the report, you can actually challenge and dispute the appraisal. So the bottom line is, even though a low appraisal feels like a huge roadblock, it's not automatically a deal killer. There are established ways to move forward and still make it to the closing table. I think this quote just says it all, right? Buying a house is a complete emotional roller coaster. The appraisal, it's the anchor of cold, hard facts in a sea of feelings and negotiations. At the end of the day, just understanding this process gives you so much power. The appraisal isn't just another boring document. It is a vital piece of information that helps you make one of the biggest financial decisions of your entire life with way more confidence.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. The appraisal gives the house a number for the bank. It's the financial value. But the real worth of a home, the place you're going to make memories, build your life, well, that's a value that only you can decide.